would assume that the number is more like at least 750,000.
So over 200 customers, $750,000 generated from cold email.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Easily.
In this video, we talked to Sander, who has successfully been using cold email and Instantly for the past 4.5 years. And over the course of the past 4.5 years, he's generated over 7 figures in new revenue using cold email and using Instantly. We talk about how he's able to generate consistent double-digit reply rates with his emails, why he decided to go with cold email and how he's able to basically turn it into a formula for scaling. And he reveals his most successful email structures that have generated him the revenue he has generated at his business. So if you are a current cold email user or you're thinking about using Instantly to scale up your cold emails, this video is going to be for you. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a case study with my guy, Sander. Sander, how are we doing today?
Doing good. Good evening here from Tallinn, Estonia.
Hello from Estonia. Good morning from San Diego. Sander, man, thanks again for doing this. Really appreciate your time and really appreciate you telling your story, giving us some insight into your business and how you've been able to scale using cold email and just scale your business to a really awesome level and using cold email as a client acquisition channel, specifically using Instantly. Why don't you just provide a quick introduction for people watching this, who you are, what do you do, what is the offer that you're doing, and give some people some context.
So, it was roughly 4.5 years ago when me and my friend, we started a web development agency. And when I came into the business, then I had some experience with cold email previously, and I said like, hey, this is how we're gonna scale the company. And we had some good background in sales as well. We had been doing door-to-door sales in the US, and we had recruited sales teams to do the same and coach them. So that was our game plan, how to scale it. And now 4.5 years later, we do roughly 1.5 or 1.2 million in revenue annually.
Nice.
We have 34 people on our team. We have office in Tallinn, Riga, Vilnius. Well, Vilnius, that's kind of small. We'll see about that. But and yeah, we started actually providing lead generation as a service roughly like beginning of 2024. And yeah, we've been working with over 70 clients doing it as well. And yeah, sent close to 1 million emails already.
Wow.
And been using in the mix for sure. So you see, before we knew about Instantly, we were using Woodpecker when we started doing cold email. And you see, I mean, it's a decent tool actually. It works well, but the thing was that the price or the cost scaled just how to say, not well.
Yeah.
So the thing was like, back in the days, you could even run a setup like this that you could send 100 emails per mailbox, and I remember it cost like 40 bucks a month per mailbox you connected. So 10 mailboxes was already like 400 a month, and imagine that then cold email is evolving so fast.
Yeah.
And then at one point you couldn't send 100 emails per mailbox per day, and then the whole math just crumbles, and you gotta adapt. And
so when you were first starting with cold email, just in general, like, was that the only client acquisition channel that you were considering? Were you trying other things before you jumped into cold email? Was it like, okay, I'm going to try these ads, or I'm going to cold DM people? Or was it, okay, we're starting this web agency and I'm going to go immediately into cold email? Or what was the situation there?
Yeah, it was more like this, that so my co-founder was really confident that we're gonna do cold calls, and we just built the sales team, because that's what we were used to doing. That we were just doing, how to say, like the hard knocks, or the
Scrappy marketing.
Yeah, basically.
Whatever it takes. Yeah.
whatever it takes. And I had some background in cold email as well. Like, so I mean, background. That was just like one project that we ran. So I learned cold email, and I got so excited about it, coming from the background of doing door to door, where you just manually go from one door to another, and it's just like there's a limit to the scalability. You
Mhm.
can only knock on, I don't know, maximum 200 doors a day, and usually the
Mhm.
ones who are knocking 200 doors a day, they're not very good at getting a sit down with.
Mhm.
Yeah. So basically, it was so exciting that it seemed like something scalable, that you could
Mhm.
just focus on talking to the people that are actually interested, and
Mhm.
just you know
Did you try
be
cold
really.
calling? Did you like set up a system for that?
Oh yeah, we
Okay.
made a lot of cold calls as well. I think
Okay.
lot of local companies here in the Baltics have heard about us
Nice.
on phone. Yeah, we literally, I think at most we had like 15 people making cold calls.
Wow.
Yeah.
So probably
Um,
making 1,500 calls a day, about.
so here locally, to be fair, I think we're making way less, a lot less
Mm.
dials. Like cold calling is not as competitive as it is in the US here,
Yeah.
but still, yeah, you gotta make like tens of calls per day for
Yeah.
sure.
100%. It's tough. We tried a cold calling scenario where we like set up a whole team, but it's just really tough to like hit the volume numbers. And I guess in the US maybe it's a little bit different, but yeah, people just don't answer the phones. And when you do answer the phone, they're in their car, like that's kind of catching them off guard, and you got to be like really slick with it. And it was like,
Hmm.
yeah. So, okay, so
Yeah.
you're ripping cold calls. So did you like, were you like, okay, cool, this is just not like working as well. I want to fully focus
Mm.
on cold email and instantly, or what was kind of the transition there to
So
being like,
so
okay, we're gonna go on
yeah.
instantly, or we're gonna rip cold email and actually focus on this?
So our experience actually, because our local markets are really really limited. There's like
Mm,
only 1 million people here in Estonia,
mm,
and it's just, I mean, local. It's just way easier to build trust with companies, especially when you're in the niche of web development. Like there's
mm,
so many companies trying to offer it via email, for example, or cold call, I guess, and. So we kind of did is that cold email served as a supplementary source of leads for for our salespeople that were also making cold calls, and yeah, and then at some point we also started to try out ads. We started trying out Google ads and Facebook ads. Mostly Google ads as like to get people on the website, and Facebook ads to just retarget people. Um, and yeah, we've got hundreds of inquiries from our inbound leads,
mm,
and then it's just really interesting to compare these different channels. We whenever we're sitting down with a customer or a potential client, and they're kind of asking like, okay, so let's say I get 20 leads a month. So how much are usually becoming customers from there? So we put together our own data, and we can share that with them. Like we share what kind of conversions we're seeing from cold email, what kind of conversions we're seeing from Google Ads, and what kind of conversions we're seeing from content marketing. So it's actually pretty interesting how there's actually like 2 times difference in
mm.
case in so cold email is roughly 1 in 20 in our niche becomes a paying client.
Wow.
Then Google Ads, it's roughly 1 in 10.
1 in
And
20 positive replies is what you're saying, or like 1 in 20 people who
mm,
respond to the email, or what?
to be fair, that was when we used to measure it. Like I have this table basically.
Yeah.
I could pull up, and that was when we were using Woodpecker. I kind of wanted to put all the data together
Yeah.
to understand like, so like is it profitable or how is this going? What's the math behind it? Like, could we scale it further? And
Hmm.
so how much are we willing to invest? And
Hmm.
so back then, I guess maybe our call to action wasn't as soft as well. So yeah, there may be like a slight as well. We should really measure it better, but that's what we used to have at least like 2 years ago. Yeah, I'm really
And cold
analytical
email.
person, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like to be like correct with numbers.
Sure, sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I mean, so you're saying that cold email
Like
was providing double the results of the other channel that you were doing.
I don't know if I could say that. It's like that actually like the conversion rate is twice as less than Google Ads, and if you
Got it.
compare it to content marketing, it's even 4 times less. That from content marketing, I mean, at least 1 out of 5 becomes a paying client. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's like 1 out of 3 as well, but depends. Um, but the thing is like where can you get the most volume?
Yeah.
Like it's like right now, like selling lead gen, for example. Uh,
Yeah.
we had a month where we got 480 leads for ourselves.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so it's easily way more better to scale and cheaper to scale than Google Ads
For
or
sure.
content marketing.
Yeah, I'm curious because a lot of people watching this are probably people who are like thinking, oh, cold email doesn't work. Oh, just need to focus on creating YouTube videos and like short form content or doing Google ads or cold DMing people. Like, what would you say to those people from your experience based off of like using instantly and just like using and just like getting started with cold email? Because, yeah, I think people have like those preconceived notions a little bit inside of their brain. And then we can talk a little bit more about your results specifically, even more.
I think one into this is like cold email doesn't work alone. You gotta actually have some systems around it as well. So
Mm.
you you're not gonna just get 1 out of 20 to convert half of your emails. You
Hmm.
actually have to have decent follow-up systems. For example, like you really you have to call those leads multiple times, for example, or yeah, like using like I don't know, newsletters, for example, to nurture
Yeah.
them, or it like depends on the case as well. Like in some case we're using webinars, for example, for a client that's selling real estate in Bali, like investment properties. Like webinar is just like the perfect part of the funnel. Like
Yeah.
make a group, and also what we noticed is that people commit way easier to like a group, like one-to-many meeting instead of a one-on-one meeting where
Yeah.
they're just expecting to be pitched. And
Yeah. I like
um,
that.
basically
So
like just
they're saying like if you're gonna do cold email, don't expect cold email to be your savior by sending one email and being like, okay, cool, I didn't get any results because I just sent 500 emails over the course of a month and I don't have any sales
mm,
systems in place. I don't have any follow-up systems in place. Like you gotta like be a salesperson and treat it as like an actual channel and actually commit to it and then put protocols into place, and that's where you're gonna have basically success. That's what I hear you saying.
well, yeah, but if you explain it like this, like if you're sending like 500 emails over the course of a month, then I would say that you should get more data ideally, like because from 500 emails over a month, then what is it, like 20, 25 emails a day, you have inconsistent results. Like we
Hmm.
usually want to get to a place that we're consistently getting at least a lead a day for a customer.
Hmm.
Like if it's like I don't know, every other day, then I mean, okay, if it's systematic, then maybe yes, but there has to be consistency, and that you can actually calculate. Okay, how many emails do I need to send to
Hmm.
get a lead, and how
Right.
many emails do I need to send to close a customer?
Yeah.
So once you know your numbers, then it just becomes a game of
An
simple
equation.
math.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's like middle school math or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, then you just run the numbers. You know like what it costs for you to acquire a customer and what your customer is worth, and then if that all makes sense, then you just push the gas pedal.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Okay, let's talk about your specific results with cold email. Like, what specifically have you seen since starting to use cold email inside of your business? Maybe there's like a numbers, maybe there's like a revenue. I mean, you've been able to successfully scale to seven figures. So, like, what specific impact has email had on your biz?
Yeah, as much as I have measured it, like sometimes I can't track everything down because, like being transparent, our let's say revenue operations aren't always like perfect, but then again, like I tried to chase our team enough to actually get the numbers and data, and as far as what I know, that we got at least 200 customers.
Wow.
I know literally I could pull up a table and name 160 of those right now, and rest is kind of like just looking at what we've done and conservatively, um, how to say, assuming, and I pull up like 600,000 from a table that we've generated from cold email right now, but
Wow.
actually I would assume that the number is more like at least 750,000, and
So over
yeah,
200
and
customers, $750,000 generated from cold email.
yeah, for sure,
Nice.
easily. And for
Easily.
customers, yeah, like and we kind of have this. We run an experiment for ourselves where we basically off of I think it was 2.5 years of data where we were sending cold emails, and then we kind of counted like, okay, how many customers did we get from this, and how many emails it took us to generate a lead and a customer, and what are our metrics. So wait, what I wanted to say is that oh yeah, so then what we learned in the end was that how much revenue we generated from those emails, and we came up to a number that for that experiment, in that experiment there was 250,000 emails or so,
Hmm.
and we managed to generate like 560,000 in revenue. So basically,
Wow.
it meant that sending out one email means 2 point, I don't know, something, 2.2 euros 15 cents
Yeah.
generated. So
Cool.
I mean, then when I saw that number on the Excel sheet, then I was like, wait, we could send more emails. It is just
Nice.
how else, like, how don't you make sense of that?
Yeah, totally. And then from your experience with cold email, like any numbers from like campaigns, like your reply rates, like things that you're seeing, and then maybe what's contributing to your reply rates. Because before we jumped on this call, you were showing me your instantly, and your reply rates are pretty wild. But like, what is contributing to those high reply rates, would you say?
Yeah, so in our instantly account, from based off of last 12 months, we've sent 705,000 emails, and our reply rate is 14.1%. So
Wow.
well, it's 38,000 responses, and we're running like two to three follow-ups, or so basically 2 to 3 email sequences. And basically, yeah, a lot of people don't achieve like reply rates that are like over 10% or so. But why we are is that, for example, we're sending emails to a lot of countries in their local language.
Mm.
That's definitely contributing to that. And yeah, we see our English campaigns often getting also like 5%, 3%, 2% reply rates. Sometimes they're also like the ones that aren't performing are like even less than 1%. Or some niches you just realize like, okay, we just have to play the volume game, like just send a
Mm-hmm.
lot more emails. Yeah.
Is it like your call to actions that are contributing also to those? Like you're not asking for a book call, like you're inviting them to a workshop, like what you said, and it's a little bit more frictionless. Like what specifically is getting people to actually take action?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think at least that our approach to building out offers and value propositions and copy is definitely contributing. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we typically always want to use low friction call to action that doesn't require so much effort from the person receiving the email. So basically, that if they respond like yes, send it to me, or yes, I want to hear more, yes, I want to get
Mm-hmm.
more information, then that's not so hard to write compared to them committing to 60 minutes of a
Mm-hmm.
sales call that they don't know if they actually want to commit to.
Yeah, and they
uh,
don't even know who you are because you just landed in their inbox. There's no trust established.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
basically, we in this that cold email is a great channel to start conversations with your
Yeah.
ICP. You get the first engagement from the initial sequence, and then it's just a matter of how you process the leads. Like
Yeah.
you send them the lead man, like you send them the extra information, and then they're actually diving in deeper and
Yeah.
with that information that you're sending, you can also then ask for a meeting.
Right. Yeah. So here, like what you mentioned earlier, or we've kind of hit on a few things with like, okay, after they do a positive reply, we need to have a process in place to actually follow up with them, sale them, like, or get them on a call through that process, have a frictionless call to action. Is like in the copy, is there something that you've seen that's stood out the most for you from like a structure perhaps, or like subject line and copy structure? Is it like a really banger offer? Is there a specific thing that stood out to you that has made your campaigns be really, really small?
Obviously, like if you're really good at good offers that people just, it just kind of, it sounds good. Like you say yes to that, or like I guess Alex Hormozy puts it, together offers that people feel stupid saying no to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
mean
about
that's
the offer in the
definitely.
copy.
Sorry.
It's the offer that's in the copy.
Oh yeah, yeah. But often it's just about the way how you formulate that offer.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, two companies, they could be selling the same thing, but it's how, like, what are you what's so it's a little bit thinking like this, like, okay, whom are we selling to, and
Hmm.
what kind of pain points they might have in their day-to-day work that might be relevant, and then really like going deep into that. So for
Yeah.
example, there's a a company that I help build copy for, that basically they have software for manufacturers that helps manage, basically a quality management software.
Yeah.
And uh, so we did some research, and we found out that companies who are still using Excel or paper to manage some of their processes in manufacturing, they're actually losing $800 a year on every employee. Like if you make a
Yeah.
calculation compared to if they were using a QMS software.
Nice.
So, I mean, that's just some data I found
Yeah.
online using ChatGPT, and like how to put together like quantifiable impact,
Yeah.
and then you can pull data like how many people they have on LinkedIn, their
Mm.
company, and well, if you want to, you can play around with those numbers, and like you can assume that in a manufacturing company, most people don't have LinkedIn, or they're not on there, so they might have twice as many or 5 times as much employees. And so the calculation, I mean, you can just call it out like based on like you have 100 employees on LinkedIn, you're losing X amount per year.
Totally. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the most underrated skills a business owner slash anybody trying to use cold email could do is learning copywriting, getting customer obsessed, speaking the language of the customers versus saying like leads or like what you said, oh, we can make your business more efficient. Like go the level deeper and then like understand
Yeah.
like how much money you could save them, et cetera, et cetera. That's
Yeah.
what will make them feel more understood and actually want to reply to you.
Yeah. And like if you're talking about like uh, what about the copy or the approach, well, usually we just break it down into four parts. There's the
Mm-hmm.
subject line, there's the opener, value proposition, and call to action. And
Nice.
well, we just covered the value proposition part, and then we also covered the call to action. You wanna
Mm-hmm.
make it low friction usually,
Mm-hmm.
but subject line and the opener, that's also something that's really important part of the mix.
Yeah.
And like this line and opener, what people are seeing on their phone in as a preview of the email, and then that makes them decide often like are they going to open it or they're not going to open it. Like
Yeah.
if it sounds salesy or they understand right away that they're being sold to, that this is
Mm-hmm.
something promotional, then probably they're gonna swipe left and not read it at all, and then the rest what you wrote is not even gonna matter. So it has to sound something that's gonna make them open it, like
Mm-hmm.
sound emails that they are receiving that they typically do open, like
Yeah.
something internal or something they missed or something like that.
Yeah. What's an example of that from like an opener perspective?
Well, with the opener also, like sometimes you could always do that to make it look like internal. So then we just want to make it relevant for them.
Yeah.
So then I guess a good example of that is when we ran a campaign for a digital signing company. Well, we're still working with them, and we found companies who are exporting to different countries, and we called it out right away that I noticed that you're exporting to, I don't know, like Finland, Germany, France, and I wanted to find out how you're signing contracts with those customers.
Mm-hmm.
And then instantly, well, it's relevant.
Mm. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like the structure. I totally agree with that, and I connect with that. Okay, two more questions.
Yeah.
One, why are you using Instantly for cold email? I mean, there's tons of different tools out there. There's a lot of competitors. There's a lot of different ways to use cold email. What's making you send a million emails just in the last 12 months through Instantly?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's pretty easy that it's the pricing is actually scalable. It's a lot of sense. Um then secondly, the uh, that you have everything you need plus more. So and wise it just makes sense and it saves so much time. So let's say we go a few years back, then almost none of the tools had inbox rotation. And imagine that right now we're setting up a campaign. You put like, I don't know, depends, like 5,000 contacts in it perhaps, and you're connecting like, I don't know, 50 or 20 or however many email boxes to the campaign. And it used to be this way that you had, like, if you have, I don't know, 20 or 50 different email accounts, you're creating a different campaign for all of those, and
Mm.
that just takes so much work. So that's just something that makes sense. Then also I'm a really fan of the Unibox and how to say, like AI lead.
Mm-hmm.
That saves a ton of time, and you can build other automations on top of that, like having basically sending out replies to the positive answers automatically, like sending them
Yeah.
the PDF for the video explaining how you're gonna do what you promised them, or
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that. And it used to even be that you had to pay for warm up at a different tool, But yeah, for instantly, it's just all integrated and makes sense. Like it's
Yeah.
just you have everything there. It saves so much time.
Yeah. Super easy to monitor, respond, organize the leads, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Last question, and then we'll let you get back to it. Probably eat dinner with the family. What would you say to somebody watching this right now who is maybe considering using Instantly or considering just using cold email inside of their business? Like, what would you share to that person?
Well, I'm really believer in this that you have to run experiments to figure out, and you like in business or in marketing, you have to run different experiments and get data. Then just look at your options. What kind of experiments could you run? And then if you know, like from an example, like who is crushing it at using various channels, then you can make some kind of predictions, and then you can implement in your business, and you can see how it works for you. And yeah, like just what is the potential upside, and what is the cost of the experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And then just go for it. Like, what advice would you give to them as they're starting to use cold email? Just like
Yeah.
test,
Okay.
or like don't send one email and bank it on that, or
Well, some of the pitfalls to avoid, for example, I think one is this that I'm also like guilty of is kind of how to say, like so like the one that you're sending, that you gotta buy new domains and email accounts. And I would always recommend, like, rather buy more than less, because you're just gonna get this data faster, and then you can just run your numbers a lot better, or you're gonna get results faster. So yeah, get at least get the minimum of 10 domains for yourself. And yeah, that's one of the pitfalls for sure, not having enough email infrastructure. Yeah,
yeah,
I think
because you basically said
that's
it's an equation, and you just have to figure out your equation. And if you get more emails, then you can figure out your equation a lot faster. But if you're not sending as many emails, then it's going to take a lot longer to get to those equations, and your
yeah.
results are going to be a lot slower as well.
Exactly. Like basically, let's say that you have a lot of volume, and you're just, I don't know, half a week into a campaign, but it's too soon to make any predictions, because
Hmm.
it's just not enough data.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. And maybe another one is just like, if you don't have experience in it, you don't know what you're doing yet, then get some help.
Hmm.
Like you like, depends on your budget and how much time you got on your hands. But if you don't have so much time but you have the budget, then go for a done for you solution, with an
Hmm.
agency like us or somebody else. And
Yeah.
if budget is a little bit smaller and you have a little bit more time, then go like a consulting or mentorship,
Hmm.
to like a done with you solution. And if you really just have a really small budget and a lot of time on your hand, then just look a lot of like learn from the Instantly YouTube videos. And
There you go.
yeah.
Absolutely. Sander, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you doing this, telling your story, sharing us the insight, giving us the behind the hood. Really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, love sharing with you guys.
Sander, if people want to find out more about you, how can they best learn about you? Is that LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, yes. I post every week.
There we go. We'll get down below. Sander, thank you again. Appreciate it.
All right.